everyone, welcome to Real Talk. Today's episode will be on romance. I have a few things that have to do with the structure of the episode. First of all, we'll be talking about romance in general. Then we'll be talking about three important things: self-worth, self-love, and boundaries. Then we move on to romance for the wrong reasons, archetypes in relationships that are harmful, and we end with a gratitude segment that is a bit different from all the other ones that we've had. So let's begin. Romance. To me, I feel as though romance is like one of the most amazing things, really, one of the most amazing feelings. However, I've started to realize that yes, romance is nice and all of that, but other things that are important are friendships that are platonic, friendships with your girls, friendships with your sisters, It's those things are also even more important than romance. I feel as though for me, I was under the category of women that was really striving to have a romantic relationship. And on top of that, I grew up in a family in which, well, I'm not trying to blame the family, but the mentality for my community was that if you're dating, you're dating to marry. You understand? Which actually messed up my whole approach to relationships, because everybody that I met, I was always thinking that long term, and I'm a long-term girl. And actually, that should be one of the one of the things to talk about later on. Yes, I'm a long-term girl, and I realized that, oh wow, literally all the people that I've been meeting are short-term. Not their fault, not my fault either, but obviously as you grow, as you have more relationships in your life, you learn lessons and you learn what needs to be kept in terms of ways of thinking and mentality, and what needs to be scrapped. So now, although like my core is a long-term girl, I'm no longer looking for somebody to marry, so that's no longer harmful for me. It's just been a terrible thing, and that's why I'm even wearing glasses, because when I get agitated or riled up, I send so much venom through my eyes. So I said, okay, let's spare everyone and let's just wear glasses today. So yes, romance. Growing up, I felt like romance was the most beautiful thing in the world. I used to watch Disney movies. Hercules was one of my favorites. Robin Hood. That whole portrayal of the men coming to save the women. So for me, my way of thinking, which is why I mentioned in the first episode that you have to be careful of what it is that you're taking in subconsciously. My way of thinking involved finding somebody that would save me. Save me from what? Save me from my emotional burden. Save me from looking at myself in the mirror and getting to know myself. Save me from my trauma. Save me from my pain. That's so much to put on one person. Do you understand what I'm saying? And luckily, the not relationships, because I've had situationships. The situationships that I've been in have enabled me to be able to turn to myself in the mirror and say, Wanola, you know what? You are responsible for your healing. You are responsible for yourself. You are the one that is going to save yourself. Nobody's going to save you. So I'm thankful that all these situationships happened and they didn't last, and I took the lessons that they had to teach me and moved on. Okay. Yes, I'm actually very thankful, because now I'm in a space with romance in which I'm like, I'm not eager. I'm not eager for romance anymore, if I'm being honest. Maybe that wide-eyed, doe-eyed girl is no longer around, and I'm getting used to that, because really I just saw myself as a Disney fairy princess. That was really my life. Like somebody was going to come into my castle, rescue me like Rapunzel, and we were going to live happily ever after. But now it's like, oh, I'm my own knight in shining armor, and I just, I respect myself even more because of how I've been able to move on, or who I've been able to become as a result of failed romantic situationships. So that's romance for me in general. So where am I with romance? I don't know. I'm in between. Right now, I'm just here loving myself, okay? I don't know if I would even love to I don't know what it would be like to have a man that actually genuinely cares and says, okay, you know what, Wanola, I actually do want to pursue a relationship with you that is romantic, that is long-lasting, that we can build, that'll be stable. I don't know my views on that. I think theoretically I would love that, but right now I'm so. I don't know. I don't care actually, but I don't know, and I'm okay with that, if that makes sense. Literally, I just really felt like this romantic episode, I was going to really just bear how I've been feeling about it, but I can't say that I know. I have a definite grounding on it. Right now, I'm just so. Right now, I'm just like, I'm focusing on me. Alright, so that's romance in general from my perspective. So let's move into the three important things. We'll start with self worth. For me, self worth is a huge factor when it comes to relationships because how you feel about yourself determines how people will treat you. If you're somebody that doesn't value yourself, okay, let's say you have low self esteem and it's not your fault, everybody's environment and upbringing determines how they will feel about themselves and determines how they will allow other people to treat them. So let's say, for example, you're a woman that is not somebody that really values herself. That's going to exhibit itself in your relationship, your romantic relationship. In some aspects, because I'm not going to say this is the whole general formula, but for women from this perspective, it's going to exhibit itself in your relationships. For example, I'll say this. For me, I'm just getting to a point in which I value myself. This is 2019. My first relationship, which was, I would not call it a relationship because it was not really a real relationship. However, it was the first official relationship that I had. I was in it for 2 years and I was 18 at the time. At that time, I had low self-esteem and I didn't know my worth, and I was still in that way of thinking that I need somebody to show me my worth. Unfortunately, I attracted somebody that was abusive, very terrible in the way he treated me, in the way he spoke to me, in the way he dealt with me, really. At least he wasn't abusive physically, but emotional wounds are just as bad as physical wounds. Emotional even worse because you can't see it. So there I was in a relationship for 2 years, and I went through a lot of badgering and, being pulled down, crushing of self-esteem, because obviously when some people would know when they're with someone that doesn't really think highly of themselves, and if you're with somebody that is equally like that with themselves and they're with a woman, they want to bring her down to feel better about themselves. That's the kind of person I was with. And honestly, very unfortunate that I would have to experience such a disgusting period of my life, but I can tell you this, that it helped me to be the woman that I am today. It did. So I've moved on from it. I will still talk about it and use it as an example so that women will know how to identify when they're in a relationship that is not good for their mental health. I was in that relationship for 2 years. It took me a year after we broke up to realize that I was emotionally abused extensively. It took me another year to actually speak up about it. Okay, so really my point is, because I was already used to being demeaned and spoken down to and criticized and pulled down, I didn't see a problem with how this guy was treating me. Because I had feelings for him and everything, but I'd already been used to liking and loving people that wanted me to be, to feel bad about myself. Truth and fact is the truth. Everybody wanted me to feel bad about myself, most people. So it was already something I was used to. Being in a relationship with somebody like that for 2 years was nothing if I'd already been used to that kind of way of speaking to, It was a loveless relationship from his end, because really I think I'm just realizing that he definitely might not have wanted to be in that relationship and was cruel so that I would leave. Anyway, the relationship ended, and it was afterwards I realized that, wow, Nola, you didn't know your worth at all. So it's that kind of thing. When you don't know your worth, you're not able to set up that boundary with people that makes them know that this is not how they should treat you. You're not able to say, don't speak to me like that. I'm not that kind of person. Does that make sense? So it's very important to know your worth. How do you feel about yourself? How can you work on feeling better about yourself? Do you value yourself? Because I want people to be able to value themselves to the point that with every relationship that they have, they're able to exert certain boundaries and say, don't talk to me like this, don't treat me like this, I deserve better. If you don't know or feel that you deserve better, you're going to settle for less. So that's why self-worth and your value is very important. I am just finding out about how fantastic I am. I'm just even knowing my value. I'm 25. I'm just knowing my value. So you can imagine, I've had like a number of situationships, and you can imagine how they've been. I'm not going to talk about it like that, but I'll say this in terms of energy and in terms of visual imagery, like we spoke about last week. I'm coming from the abyss, the dark depths of the pits of hell when it comes to situationships and how I've been treated. Toxic relationships, something I can do in my sleep. You understand? I am just saying to myself, no more toxic relationships, no more relationships in which people don't even know who they're with. Look at me. and you don't know who you're with, you don't know who this woman is, you don't know how to value her, you don't know how to take care of her, you don't have it in your heart to even say, wow, this woman deserves the best. If you yourself, the woman, can't say, I deserve the best, I deserve to be treated like somebody that is a queen, that is a goddess, the person that you're with, if they're not even, if they're a narcissist, if they're somebody that actually doesn't see their own worth, they would want to bring you down regardless. So you have to be the one to exert those boundaries. I hope that makes sense. Second one, self-love. It's the same thing with self-worth. Do you love yourself? Okay. How much love do you have for yourself to be able to say to yourself that, you know what, this relationship is no longer serving me, so I'm going to leave? Do you love yourself enough to remove yourself from a relationship in which you know you love someone deeply, but you know that relationship is no longer serving you, so you have to leave? You have to think about it, because three things, these three important things that I'm talking about, these are the things that you need to carry with you into a relationship. Your self-love, your self-worth, and your boundaries. These are the three things, including your intuition, that's going to enable you to navigate your relationships. That's going to enable you to keep accessing boundaries, to keep communicating with your significant other about the things that you want and the things that you would accept in your relationship, okay? How much do you love yourself? I need you to ask yourself that. And how can you continue to improve in loving yourself, even when you're in a romantic relationship? Because I used to be the kind of girl that, if I found myself in a situationship, it was all about the guy. Okay, that's why I'm going to talk about archetypes later on. It was all about the guy. So literally, I pushed myself aside. Do you love yourself enough to know that, okay, I'm in a relationship, but doesn't mean I'm not going to keep focusing on myself, keep loving myself, keep exerting those boundaries that I need to exert? Think about that. Boundaries, same thing. What are you going to accept? What are you not going to accept? What are you going to make sure is sustained in the relationship? For example, you know how men, they get you into a relationship, or finally, like, you've established that you like each other and you're with him, then they stop doing those things that they used to do to get you. Are you going to now stand for that? Or are you going to say, honey, if you don't continue doing all those things that you did to get me, to keep me here, I'm going to leave? Those are boundaries. What are you going to accept? What are you not going to accept? How do you want to be treated? How are you going to treat yourself in the relationship? What are the red flags that you're going to make sure that if you see, you nip in the bud, or you call to attention? Important. Now, romance for the wrong reasons. This is already like 8:25. I think I'm going to do like 2 parts of this romantic relationship, or this romantic episode. Okay, all right. Romance for the wrong reasons. Some people go into relationships hoping that people will save them from their issues. Like I said, that's something that I had before. One, are you going into a relationship so that somebody will teach you how to love yourself? Are you going into a relationship so that somebody can save you? Are you going into a relationship so that you can save someone else and indirectly feel as though you're saving yourself? Because there are some ladies, that take up romantic relationships like that. They are their pet projects. You put everything into the man, everything. You in fact, you give all your resources. You put it all into the man. This is the relationship. We're going to make sure the relationship works. This is long term because I'm a long term girl. All of these things are my investments because I know that this is going to take us into the future. Honey, I feel as though all that energy is because you're trying to build something with yourself, but you're using somebody else as the medium. Does that make sense? I just feel that. I feel that because I know I've been there, and I now realize that, oh wow, I think I was doing all of that in order to distract me from myself, from doing my own work. Does that make sense? Think about that. So yeah, are you going to romance for the wrong reasons? Are you going to romance to save you from your current emotional troubles? You know, some people want to get married or to be in a relationship to get out of whatever they're in at the moment. Maybe they don't really love being around family members. They want to use marriage as an escape plan. Think about that. Are you entering romantic relationships for the wrong reasons? Because at the end of the day, if you're looking for somebody to save you, it's definitely going to crash and burn, because you're going to be shown that the only person that can save you is you. And I need people to know that. I need ladies especially to know that. Please, don't go into a relationship looking for someone to save you, and don't go into a relationship looking to save someone. Everybody can only save themselves. You understand? It's by saving yourself that you save other people. Everything starts with you. So trust me, I don't know who's a lady that takes romantic relationships as their pet projects. I used to be that kind of person, God. But honey, please take yourself up as your own pet project. Put everything, all your resources, everything into yourself, not into a man, not into a relationship, unless the relationship is equal give and take. If this man is putting into you, then match him equally. That's equal energy exchange. But remember what I said last episode. If you're in a relationship in which is you that is doing all the giving and you're not receiving, it's an unequal energy exchange, and you're going to be the one that suffers for it at the end of the day. Please remember that and take into consideration your boundaries. What am I giving and what am I not giving? Where am I knowing that I'm stepping the line, or is it crossing the line? And where am I knowing that I'm not giving enough? Just think about that, please. Okay, archetypes in relationships that are harmful. Oh God. In fact, I think I should talk about this in another episode because it's meant to be 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in another episode because this is important and this should be an episode on its own. All right, so forgive me for saying that, and I'll make it up to you in the next time. Now, I'm asking myself, what other things can I say about boundaries? For me, I'll tell you this, as a woman, even as a man, but I'm focusing on the women because women, we actually do give a lot in relationships. I'm talking as a woman that I've been the one doing the most giving in the relationship. So as women, what are your boundaries when it comes to romantic relationships? What are you going to accept? What are you not going to accept? How do you know when your relationship is one of equal give and take? How do you know when your relationship is lagging and you're the one that is doing all the work? All these things are things that we should pay attention to. And I feel as though when we have another episode on maybe boundaries and romance, we'll talk about it again. But these are basic things. Honestly, to be honest, it's like, it's such a trigger point for me, this whole thing I'm talking about, because when you have zero boundaries in relationships, it can really go haywire. You don't even know where there's a line that has been crossed. You don't even know where you're just not even imposing those things that should be imposed. It's very important. It's a very important thing to think about. What are your boundaries in romantic relationships? I need people to actually have strong boundaries when they're going into romantic relationships or in their current romantic relationships in order to avoid serious hurt, in order to avoid serious violation. Because I can tell you, as someone that has really come from a place of zero boundaries, you don't even want to go through some things that some people have gone through. You don't even want to go through some feelings some people have had to experience just because they didn't know how to stand up for themselves. They didn't know how to say, this is not what I like, this is not what I want, okay? I need you to care about yourself enough to say, this is not what I'm going to take from this person in this relationship. If I'm in this relationship and I'm being made to feel like trash, I'm going to leave. If I'm in this relationship and I've expressed that I'm feeling like I'm being treated like trash and this person has not decided to impose change, I'm going to leave. I just need us to love each other more than we might have been loving ourselves in order for us to have better quality romantic relationships. It's really something that is dear to me. I just want women to have that kind of love in their relationship in which their boundaries are respected, they are valued, they are loved, therefore increasing their own self-love because they're seeing their beauty. You know, it's a wonderful thing when you see somebody that sees you, but you need to see yourself. Please don't wait for somebody to see you before you start seeing yourself. That's where you would have a problem. Also, please don't pursue people that are not even trying to see you and force them to see you, because a lot of us have found ourselves in situations like that. You're with somebody that cannot even see your magic and you keep trying to make them see it. See my magic, see my magic. Now, honey, if he's not seeing that magic, then he's not going to see it anytime soon, because what is distracting him from seeing that magic could be the fact that he's trying to see the magic in himself. A lot of times we also have to look at the person that we're entering a relationship with. Does he value himself? Does he love himself? Okay, obviously I'm just speaking from a heterosexual point of view. Is he somebody that values himself? Is he somebody that loves himself? Think about that, because if he can love himself, if he values himself, trust me when I say he will value you. But if he doesn't love himself, if he doesn't value himself, I think there's a bit of a problem there, because it might now be on you as well. All right, it will be on you that, oh, he can't love you because he can only meet you as far as he's met himself. He can't value you because he can only value you as far as he's valued himself. just remember that it's not something to take personal, but it's something that you should actually be strong enough to say, okay, if this is what is happening here, I don't think I can be able to continue this relationship. Wow, I actually almost burst into tears, but really I'm cool. I'm good, honey. I'm good. So now, because of how long this episode is looking, I'm just going to go into the gratitude segment, and then we'll go into the dance. All right, now what are we looking for in men? That's what our gratitude thing is all about. You see, how gratitude works is this: you can be grateful for the things that have already occurred in your life, and you can also be grateful for the things that are about to occur. For example, okay, now I said I'm not looking for somebody to be romantic with. However, why can't I just be thankful for the future man that is coming into my life already? So let's begin. 5 this time. I'm very grateful that I have a romantic partner that is loving and caring. I'm very grateful that I have a romantic partner that is respectful of my boundaries. I am very grateful that I have a romantic partner that respects me and values me. I am very thankful that I have a romantic partner that prays for me, that wants to uplift me. I am very grateful that I have a romantic partner that loves me deeply, and makes me feel great about myself. So let's move into the dancing. Bye.